We heard the front door blow in, and once the front door blew in, it was just complete chaos at that point. You could hear the furniture upstairs moving around. Glass was breaking all over the place upstairs. We had lost power at this point, so we were just in a dark room. We had no light. We ended up finding a flashlight that we had packed and turned the flashlight on so that we could, withstand it all. Well, then our door started shaking really bad. It was trying to open, so we rushed around and grabbed as many boards, because this is my dad's workshop. We grabbed the boards that we could grab and started putting them over the door, and found any screw that we could possibly scrounge up that would go through wood, and just started screwing the door shut. It was just uncontrollably, the noise. It was just so loud you could barely even hold a conversation with the person standing next to you. And that lasted for a good couple hours. And then probably about right before dark, right about 6:30, I guess, 7 o'clock, we decided, we thought that the storm had left good enough that we could go outside. And at that time, we opened up our door and went out into the wind, and it was probably a good 100-mile-an-hour wind. And we looked up, and we ended up seeing my next door neighbor, Alex, just frantically running to the house. He had a life jacket on. The water was all the way up over into our carport, and he's just bawling his eyes out, and he's like, I need help now. I got to get my dogs. So we ran over to his house and ended up picking his dogs up and having to carry them over. His house was completely destroyed. He was in some little 5x5 little closet that he had found to be safe. And so we got him with us for the second half of the storm. We locked it all up, and we had him with the second half of the storm. And that just went on for hours and hours. And we just, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the winds picked up again. And we were all just sitting there looking at each other, and we're like, what are we going to do? We can't endure this storm much longer. How much longer could this possibly go on? All of us are sitting there just, we gave each other hugs, and we're like, if this is it, this is it. We don't know what we're going to do. We don't know how we're going to get out of this. Then the storms left, and probably about 9 o'clock in the morning, we were able to unbolt our door and move into the other room, because it was raining inside. It was just pouring down. We were just getting soaked. We stayed up all night, just trying to be with each other. We made it into our other room finally, and the front door had been blown in, and glass was everywhere. The furniture from upstairs was all out there. We had a guy that couldn't even walk with us. He has stage 3 Parkinson's disease, so he wasn't doing very well. We were trying to give him as much food as we possibly could, even if it meant that we weren't going to have any. Tried to keep as much fresh water for him as possible, and it was just complete chaos. The houses around us, there's not one house that was standing. Just the debris field that was outside was amazing. It's just the amount of rubble that the water and wind can move. We ended up going, once the storm subsided, we just ended up going outside and took my truck was still running, so we went out and got my truck and pulled the garage door down, and ended up pulling my dad's car out of the garage. I had enough fuel that it didn't matter. I could fill everything up, and we ended up splitting up. We put 2 people and 2 dogs in one vehicle, and then it was me, the 2 elderly people, and the 2 dogs in my parents' car. And that's how we ended up sleeping the last couple days, as we were sleeping in cars, just letting them run 24 hours a day to charge our phones and so forth. I had an inReach, which is a satellite phone basically, and that's how I was staying in contact with my parents and everybody. And then finally, yesterday morning, United States Coast Guard ended up showing up, and they dropped their basket down and was able to rescue two of the people that we had. Our other two, Perry and Alex, ended up walking out. They took the dogs and they walked to Boat Harbor, where a private helicopter picked them up. But the Coast Guard, I went up to them and I was like, okay, so we're out of here, right? And he said, no, that we don't have room for you. I was like, so you're just going to leave me here? I asked him when he's coming back, and he's like, I don't know if we are coming back. He said, there's some people that need help, and you're able to move, so we have to get them first. And he ended up leaving me, so that left me alone sitting in the car for, I don't know, it seemed like days, but it really was about 2.5, 3 hours by myself. And the private helicopter company ended up coming back, a guy named Brian, and we had cleared a landing spot next to the house, and he ended up coming in and being able to land. It was just to see somebody else's face was, you know, he got out of the helicopter and he asked what my name was, and when I gave it to him, he's like, you just look like you need a hug, and he just extended his arms, gave me a hug, and that's like the first outside person I've seen. So it was really nice to end up to get to see somebody, and then the hospitality that he was, you know, gave me some water, and I asked him if I could fly over and do a video of my marina, and he said, yeah, not a problem, because he knows the devastation. So I ended up getting to fly over and look at the debris field, like of my house. My house ended up in the Sea of Abaco. It's completely gone, wiped off the map. We flew over to the jib room and did a video of the jib room and the harbor over there, and it's a complete loss. I've got a boat inside of my restaurant. There's a boat inside the pool. I have a boat sitting up where my dance area was. There's a boat sitting up there. The parking lot's just destroyed. All the boats that were sitting up there are gone, missing. You know, I mean, no, not even a sign of where they would have ever went. And then we ended up, you know, going over to Baker's Bay to rescue some people over there and get them out. So I mean, it's just the chaos that's there. You know, while we were at the house, you know, we had some looters show up. We ended up having to pull a gun on them to get them to leave. I know down the street I had some friends come and to make sure we were okay, and they walked back out. They said that the looting was just getting to be unbelievable, that they ended up putting a barricade at the beginning of the road, so that kind of helped me out. And I know there was a group of probably a good 10 people that stood guard all night long. They had guns and they were stopping anybody from coming down to our side of the island. It's just the looting and the chaos that's going on is just unbelievable. The bodies that are all over the place, you know, they're shipping in containers, air conditioner containers, to put the deceased inside of. I've gotten some pictures back from friends that are still there that are trying to get rescued, of bodies floating around and bodies being gurneyed out, and just the people that are just in such chaos. It's unexplainable. It's just something you can't even fathom. You know.
There's that many bodies.
Yeah, there's bodies just floating. They're all over the place. You know, I mean, they're talking about.
Any idea how many? I mean, you put an estimate on how many you've seen?
I would say hundreds. I know that the Haitians, they have some Haitians that were there that ran for cover in a church, and there were 150 of them that made it to a church for a safe haven. And after a few minutes, you know, the waves came in and just washed it completely away with all the people inside of it. I mean, just the videos that we have from being in the storm, when I watch them, it's just, I can't believe that I'm alive. I can't believe that we did it. I'm still in contact with the people that got out of the island that were staying at the house with me, and we're sharing video back and forth with each other. And it's just what we went through. I don't wish on anybody. I hope that nobody has to go through it. The state of emergency that the Bahamas are in is unbelievable. The mass chaos that's going on. People are doing everything they can for food. I mean, any house that has food, people are raiding, and they're getting shot. People are shooting people over food, over batteries, over fuel, generators. They're killing people that have generators. If your generator is running and they can hear it, they come to it to try to get your generator. It's just a madhouse. It's unreal. Those people need help. They need help bad, and whatever anybody can do to help them, they need to. I was lucky enough to be able to get out yesterday, and I ended up getting to Nassau probably about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm back here with some of our good friends on Aqualife, Lou Lentine and his crew, and we're loading the boat back up now, and we're going to head back to the Abacos to try to help rescue people. I know my girlfriend is still there, Liz, and I'm doing everything I can to get her out. She says that they waited almost 4 hours to get fuel for their generator, and they had to drive an hour just to get a gas station. And she says that what they're going through, the looting and the shooting, they can hear gunshots all day and all night long. She just said it's crazy that they're scared for their life. They want out. They're crying for help, and nobody can help. Nobody can get to them. So we have a private jet charter that actually went there and is trying to get her and another one of our friends off the island. It's just out of control there. That nobody needs to live through it. Nobody needs to live there. And they need help. They need help bad. They need to get out. The government needs to step in. They need the military. They need protection bad.
And where is your house and marina located exactly now?
The house is the one that I stayed in my house that's missing now, is down on Eastern Shores. That's the west end? The east end of Marsh Harbor. And my marina is off of Pelican Shores, which is more towards the west. It's one of the most protected marinas there is in the Abaco, and it's completely gone. Like, all my docks, 69 slips, not one board is left. I mean, it's just completely wiped out.
Where in relation to Treasure Cay and like the Tipsy Seagull and everything are you?
Treasure would be about 40 miles south of north. 40 miles. I'm 40 miles north of Treasure.
Oh, you're 40 miles south of Treasure.
Okay.
Or south?
You're south.
Yeah, south. My bad.
You've had tough 6 or 7 days.
So I mean, it's crazy to get from my house to Boat Harbor is about a 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk. But with the debris field and everything else, Travis Kelly, one of my really good friends from Gusto Charters, that actually made sure that we were okay. He brought guns over to help us. He brought food to us to make sure that we were all right, because he knew that we were incapable of being able to move because of the people we had with us. It's just, to listen to him talk about what he had to go through. It's an hour walk now just because of the debris.
Wow.
And like at my house, to get to the end of the island, to the last house that's there, that's a 5-10 minute walk for me to get to one of my other friends' houses. And it took them 45 minutes to get almost to that guy, to Lou Lentine's house. And like I said, it's a 5-10 minute walk at the most. And it took them 45 minutes to get there, 45 minutes to get back. It's, like I said, we took videos of all of it, and I just don't even like to watch them. I had to watch myself, going through the storm. I can't even believe that I'm here.
Unreal, man. Unreal. The town that you saw the looting, what was the hardest hit area of the Abacos?
From the whole thing. I mean, for what I can see, Marsh Harbor's gone. That what we flew over, there's no buildings, there's no houses, the roads are torn in half. they had heavy equipment running down the centers of the road, trying to clean the road up, just so they could get, you know, medical attention to people. It just to look at what I've been traveling there, you know, majority of my life. You know, my childhood was grown up there, and everything I can remember, everything, you know, even the past 2 years that I have lived there, everything that I'm used to seeing, you know, the bars that I hung out with, the marinas I've visited, the people that I know are gone. Just a concrete slab, if you're lucky, is still there. Any of the other marina owners that I know, the docks are completely gone. You know, they need severe help. You know, and hopefully that we can, you know, the little bit that we're going to be able to do, hopefully we can get to them and, you know, it make life a little bit bearable for them.
So what should people, I mean, with this drop-off location here in Jacksonville and others around the state, people want to give, you know, whether it's money to the GoFundMe or whether it's supplies, what should people give?
I know from like what we're trying to give out is, you know, chainsaws and tarps and tents, because they have no place to sleep. So, like what would be amazing is if somebody could get them one of those big party tents, you know, that can be erected in a day, just to be able to put people in. There's no shelter for people. People are just in chaos trying to find places to get out of the sun, they need food, they need water, they need everything, portable grills, any food sources that you can get to them, clothes, just anything you can get. It's amazing. You know, I know the stuff that we have here with us is just going to be a drop in a hat, but the medical supplies, while I was there, you could hear on the VHF radio the cries going out to Hopetown Fire and Rescue, because Hopetown fared a little bit better, that they actually have a boat, so they're trying to run rescue missions and help the Coast Guard where they can, and the Coast Guard is doing an amazing job. They're flying hundreds of trips back and forth. They're flying in medical supplies and airdropping them to islands that they can't be reached.
My God.
Yeah, I mean, it's anything that they can get would help. I mean, the money, obviously, because then you buy exactly what they need, but just giving people their clothes and shoes. They need shoes. I mean, shoes are a big thing, and I'm not saying regular shoes, but like water shoes, just like water boots. The death that's there, you know, the fish that were left on the island, the water you have to walk through is so contaminated. I know my house that I stayed in has like 3 inches of water in it, and you know, to go to the bathroom, we were just finding any jar and dumping out supplies out of the jars and going to the bathroom in jars so that we could, you know, cover them back up, you know, that we didn't have just standing waste around us. And then when it broke, we tried to get outside and dump them all out, and the smell is just like death. I mean, it just is a rancid odor that's down there, and it's